Welcome to After School with Mr. Van Huss. Today I'm sitting down with my friend Ryan Larkins. Now, if you're a fan of old school country music and gospel music, you need to check out Ryan Larkins wherever you download or stream music as soon as this interview is over. He is an amazing, amazing artist. He's written songs and had cuts for people like Tim McGraw and Cody Johnson. He's worked a lot with Whisper and Bill Anderson, and he is one of the nicest, most genuine guys you could possibly meet. So it is my pleasure today to sit down with Ryan Larkins.
So welcome to After School with Mr. Van Huss. I'm here today with Mr. Ryan Larkins. Ryan, thanks for being here today.
Man, thank you so much for having me. Good to be here.
So we met last summer at CMA Fest when I was the manager of the Spotlight stage, and you came and played. And man, I was blown away during your set. I know as soon as you started singing, I knew it was one of those acts that it was just like, oh, there's something special here.
Oh, thank you so much. That was such a fun time. That was my very first CMA Fest, and looking out and seeing all my friends and family. That was such a special day.
And you've been playing a lot of cool places this year because I think I saw where you played the Opry a couple of times. And
Yes, sir. I played it 3 times last year. I'm hoping to keep on playing it this year. And that stage is so special. I've dreamed of stepping into that circle since I was 12 years old, and just doing that and being from Nashville too. Like, there's something really special about, like, I grew up here. I know that history, and it's just a little bit extra special, I think, for me, you know?
I totally understand that. And there's nothing like standing in the middle of that circle. I
You
took my kids out there just on a tour on fall break this year because they've never really been out there that much. And I was trying to explain to them, put like all this context into the history of like what it means to stand in that circle and like how special it is for everybody that's gotten to do it. And it's hard to put it into words.
It really is. There's so much history there. And I just think about all the people that have played there before me. Each time I step into that circle, I think about those people. I just want to make them proud, and keep that history going with country music. And kind of my goal has always been just to be original and be myself and own who I am, and when I step into that stage, I'm very passionate about country music. I want to keep it country. And so I think about all that stuff, but it's a really special time.
I grew up on a whole lot of like 90s country, a lot of Alan Jackson and George Strait and stuff like that. And a lot of your stuff really reminds me of their stuff. Like it's in the same vein, and that's the stuff I go for the most.
Thank you so much. That's a huge compliment.
So, what influenced you to do what you do? What made you want to be a singer-songwriter?
I have always been passionate about music and singing. When I was 12 years old, I picked up the guitar for the first time, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And I started playing in church, actually. My dad was a pastor, and we actually needed some music. So, a small church, and he was like, man, I don't care if it's piano, guitar, whatever. You get up there and do your thing. And so I did that. I learned a lot just by failing, which I think that's life. You learn by falling on your face, and you get back up and try it again. But at the beginning, I really struggled with like stage fright. Like, I would get up there and I would just shake, and I would be embarrassed. And I know it was terrible. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to. I appreciate it so much. Like, even when the crowd, like, some nights at church, it would be like 40, 50 people, and getting it up in front of that many people, it can be very nerve wracking. And I was passionate about it, even though I wasn't that good at it at the beginning. And so I just kept playing, kept learning my favorite songs. And then it was pretty strict. My dad was a pretty strict preacher. We didn't listen to any country music. I was all like gospel and contemporary Christian music growing up. But when I was about 20, 21 years old, a friend at church said, hey, man, there's this show. It's called Can You Duet? It's on CMT. We can go. We can learn a couple of country songs, and we'll be the next Brooks and Dunn. And I was like, man, that's awesome. But who is Brooks and Dunn? I had no idea. so we did that, finished third on that show, and I just started playing shows around Nashville, writers rounds. I started writing more of my own material, and so that's kind of the start of it for me. That's how I got started.
Now, who were some of your heroes? Whether it was like country or gospel, were there singers that you looked up to when you were growing up, or people that you thought, oh, I want to be like that? That's the style I'm looking for.
Oh yeah, like early on, I listened to the Gaithers, which is a gospel, a gospel group. The Happy Goodman family. I grew up on Southern gospel, but then when I was probably 11 or 12, I really started listening to like Third Day, which is like a Christian rock group, and so that influenced me a little bit. But then once I started listening to country music, Randy Travis was a huge influence. George Strait, Merle Haggard, Dolly Parton, even Willie Nelson. The thing about Willie Nelson that I love is he is a great artist, but he's also a great songwriter. And so he has both things going on, which that's what I want to do. I want to kind of be that guy and have that career and be able to do it my whole life. That's what I really want to do. That's a goal, a dream of mine.
That's very cool. That's a lot of good influences. So, what was high school like for you? And did you go to further education after high school? Just tell me a little bit about what you did there.
So funny thing, I was actually homeschooled.
Okay.
And I think that helped me a lot. My parents really encouraged me to be creative, and I got that time to just play my guitar, write songs, and still, go to school every day, do school every day, but also have the extra time to focus on music. And they've encouraged me ever since I started playing to do this thing. And so I remember after high school, I went to Nashville State Community College. I wanted to know all there was to know about writing songs, music technology. I learned how to like record and do all of that. And then after that, I really just started writing pretty much full time. I was doing odd jobs and all that stuff, but I was going out every night, meeting people, networking, playing shows, and the people that I would meet, I would get together and I would start writing with those people, which I think that's the key in Nashville. If you want to be a songwriter, you have to go out there. You have to put yourself out there, meet people, um, and also you just have to write so many songs. If you want to be a songwriter, you have to write hundreds and hundreds of songs before one really, before you find that one that's going to open the door, that's going to get you a publishing deal or a record deal or anything like that. So I think time has helped me. It really has been on my side, even though sometimes it feels like, oh, it's taken so long to get here. When it finally does start happening, you're like, wow, I'm so thankful I had that time. It was basically like going to school, writing so many songs. And now when a great idea shows up, I know what to do with it.
I try to tell my students many of the same things on a very regular basis, and just how important it is to just network and make friends. And like you said, like just getting out there, being nice to people, putting the hours in, like that speaks so much. Obviously, you have to have a little bit of talent, but it's the hard work that really gets you there. And I try to tell them that all the time.
That's so true. And I've had so many people just give me great advice. One person told me early on, it's this whole thing. It's not a singing contest. Like if you're an artist, it's a business. It's called music business for a reason. You have to be looking at the whole thing like, okay, I own this business. I'm in charge. I'm the boss of this thing, and it's singing is part of it. But when you're out on tour, singing is 30 to 45 minutes a day. The rest of the day, you are getting up at 3 a.m., you're catching a flight somewhere really, really early, doing that thing. You got to put up with all the people that you've hired to go out there and play guitar and sing background and run sound. So it's a somebody else told me, if there's anything else that you can possibly do other than this, you should go do it. And so I
I
was,
got similar advice when I decided to become a teacher. It's weird.
yeah, yeah. No, that's so true. That's so true. But, it's just like with teaching, I know like if it's something that you have to do, it's like it's your passion and it's what you were put on this earth to do. So it's like it's something that I know I was born to do, and I'm thankful that I get to wake up every day, write songs. I get to go play shows and be an artist, and I'm living the dream, and not many people get to do what I'm doing. So I really am thankful.
Absolutely. Did you have any like favorite teachers at Nashville State? Did you have any mentors in songwriting? Anybody that kind of helped you along the way?
Yeah, there was a guy. His name was Wayne Neuendorf, and he was just a quirky, really a special human being. And he kind of we would record in his classroom, and he had a studio, and I learned so much from him as far as recording goes. And then as far as songwriting goes, Whisper and Bill Anderson is just one of the greatest to ever do it. And I feel fortunate to have him kind of as a mentor, and he's poured into me. He's taught me so much about songwriting and the business and just being nice to people. That goes a long way in this business. There are so many kind people, but you remember the ones that don't treat you well.
Yeah.
So you need to be one of those. He's like, man, you gotta be one of the good ones. So
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from him. Just how
He's
to.
an excellent, excellent mentor to have because I don't think I've ever heard anybody say a bad word against him because he's a good guy
Class.
and smart and talented and just he had the whole package. So he's a good person to listen to.
Oh yeah, no, he's one of my favorites, and so I'm trying to just take everything that he's taught me and just run with it.
Very cool. Well, hopefully I'll have some students watching this, some current and former students. If there is one lesson that you could pass on to like high school and college students today, one life lesson you've learned, what would it be?
I know this is probably cheesy and cliche, but don't give up. If you are passionate about it and you really feel like you know exactly what you're put on this earth to do, don't let anything get in your way. Don't let other people's opinions uh, change what you're going to do. I mean, stick to it. If it's music, if it's teaching, if it's whatever it is, stick to it. Don't give up. And I'm proof that you can do it. I was working a job that I didn't like and discouraged. I felt like giving up, and my wife, she really encouraged me to quit my job and pursue this full time. And so having her in my corner has really helped me and encouraged me to keep going. And now I'm so thankful that I never gave up on my dream. So that's the biggest advice or encouragement I could give.
That's excellent. Well, I encourage everybody to look you up on social media, check out your music on Spotify, on iTunes, wherever they download or listen to music. I think you have a new gospel album out right now, don't you?
I sure do. Yes, sir.
I was listening to it the other day, and man, it's so good. It's like it's acoustic, and you just got that rich baritone country voice, and it's like, oh, this is good stuff.
Oh, that means so much to me. I appreciate it.
That's very cool. Hey, I wish you the best, and I hope our paths will cross again somewhere in the future. And thank you very much for staying after school with Mr. Van Huss.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.